Hey you.
Hey what?
Say hi.
Hi.
Hi. What you doing?
I was picking tomatoes and some peppers and found some cucumbers we missed.
Oh, they look like they're gonna go on the seed.
Yeah.
Well, gonna do a video, honey.
Oh, okay.
Are you okay?
All right.
All right, you
That's
do.
great.
All right. Hey, folks. It's Erin and T, and it's been a while since I've done a video. I've been very busy. We've been really busy. Go over a few things. So this is going to be a multi-purpose video because I've got so many requests to do videos, so I'm going to keep it light. There is a few things I want to discuss, so to kind of get intermingled because of the request that was made. Lots of things that we're going to talk about out here. But I figured I would give you the perspective. I've done this in a few of my videos, but I figured I'd show you where things are at, how things are going, and so on and so forth. And because we met some folks, we had a tremendous amount of melons and cantaloupes come out of our patch over there, and so we took some down to the local market and we sold a few. So I still got a bunch left, and met some folks, invited them up, and they're from Illinois, and Todd and Melanie, it was so much fun to have you over here. And they were just in utter amazement that we have done all of this. The two of us have done, all of this in, what are we, almost 4 years, 3.5 years of being out here. And there's some individuals out here who have not seen this entirely, and I figured this would be a good way to show off what we've got out here. At the same time, I answer questions from our buddy down in Mobile Bay, and he wanted to do a challenge and I guess challenge other YouTubers to do the same thing. But he wanted to put out a video asking about what are we prepping for. And I'm going to answer that with a bunch of different perspectives. But while we're doing it, we're going to talk about all the things that we put in place here because of what we are changing our lifestyles for. And that's to be self-sufficient. So all of this looked like that when we first got here, and you can almost kind of see, I'm not going to go back here on this video, but we got a root cellar. That's a project that's getting ready to happen. As you can see, T and I, we've actually been living off-grid for almost a decade now, in the different places that we've been living. But here we are fully off-grid completely, with one system for this cabin, this system for that cabin, and that pole mount system for that cabin down there. And everything here is about being as self-sufficient as possible. We got goji. You picking gojis yet? No, you're just pulling grass. You can see the birds are very seriously set on wanting some feed already. And a couple of meat birds. They actually look like they finally put on a little weight. Some friends gave them to us because they were small when it came time to butcher theirs, and they had to go on a vacation, and well, they wanted to find a place for them, and so they brought them over here. Two of them have put on enough weight to make it look like they're different genetics. They're not like the meat birds that we've dealt with before. They look similar, but they just didn't get as big. But anyway, so we got our chickens and turkeys and ducks, and we got our young ones, and we've been raising them, and they're a source of our protein. our meat, so eggs and turkey meat, and we actually butchered a bunch of the ducks that we got this year. Now we finally are getting 2 eggs, so both female ducks are laying. So there's another goodie. Uh-oh, it's football time. Nope, you guys missed it. Nope. Oh, it's funny watching those teenagers go after after grasshoppers. So many people have seen what we've done here, but we'll do a real review. Everything you see is about food production, being able to basically grow everything, as much of everything as we can out here. Now we're not 100%. Oh, hi, Mittens. We're not 100%, but we're a good 90, 95, something like that. The one thing we don't do still is cheese and milk. And I'm hoping there's Smokey. I'm hoping we'll have, and Shadow, community members that may be able to trade with for that. But vegetables is my thing. So we've got grapes. There's an apple tree. There's another apple tree. We've got over here is elderberry, which we started from this elderberry. There's some goji here, and all along the fence there's a bunch of gojis. There's mints, multiple mints. We got our June-bearing strawberries over here, our ever-bearing strawberries over there. We have a whole bunch of citrus. Pineapple's still going at it. It didn't want to start growing this year. It's just now started to grow. Some lavender and carrots. I've just started some potatoes in tubs since they haven't really done all that well out here in the ground. The fingerlings are the only ones that are really done well out here. We just pickled some cucumbers with this late batch, and we're going to have one nice harvest of butternuts. We're also going to do real good with the sweet potatoes. So we got a sweet potato patch here, another one here, a big one back down there, back over here. There's a patch there and one right there. So sweet potatoes. I did do a little bit of corn. That's Silver Queen, and I think I'm going to get some. It's finally going to tassel. Still waiting for the silk to come out. But you have to admit, it looks really, 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 really good. We've got lots of herbs, basils, Thai basil, not Italian, Thai basil, sweet basil, more cinnamon or Thai basil over here. We got toothache plant, oregano, go on wasp, lots of different chives and thyme and there's some shallots in there, and this thing's really overgrown. We got some blueberries hidden in there. It's a turmeric there. There's big banana-looking leaf things, or turmeric, and then we got tons of asparagus. Shops over there. Over there next to the shop is another water tank. We got our 2 here, and we got some more beans over there. So we got some chili beans, small red chilies, and then over here I got some royal burgundy beans. Over there I got more butternuts. I thought those were going to be 2 different. I grabbed the same seed, I guess I did. This year didn't do too good for our tomatoes. We're kind of shy on tomato volume, but we did really good on cabbage. Some of the best cabbage we've done since we've been here. It's taken a long time. And I just finished putting in 416 garlic cloves. Yes, I counted every one of them. And how many was it of the walking onions? 200. So on this side of that log, there is the walking onions, the back sides, the garlic, and so a lot of things have been going on the last few weeks. We've been staying busy. We've pretty much built this. This is the pump house. Let's see if I can do this. Should I do this? Oh, should I do this? No, I'm gonna come down. I was about ready to jump. Let's not do that. Let me go ahead and get down here. Let's get down here. Woohoo! I got a clean gutter. But we ain't got no rain coming for the next 2 weeks. This is an old library ladder. Used to be on one of those rolling things in a library. Let's go up this ladder here so we can take a look what's going on here. So of course we got the greenhouse. Most of you seen that. Some of you may not have seen the woodshed. And mind you, all the lumber, the 4x4s and 2x6s and all that, has come off the mill. We've rearranged the mill over there. Might go over there and show you if I remember here in a minute. We got some more sweet potatoes here. We got that huge patch right there, and that patch that just volunteered. We've got a persimmon that was here, and some of the persimmons in the area up and down the road have actually put on some good fruit this year. This one hasn't. A pear, wine sap, a cross between a honey crisp and a crab apple. I don't know. They're crab apple size, but they're also very sweet. We've got the beehives over here. The barn, all that wood from that barn came off the mill from those big stumps that you see out there. And of course, the lower cabin. Rainwater collection on everything. Gutter on that one, gutter on that one, gutter on that one. So all of this was wooded, every bit of it. So we have the 2 paddocks. We've got 3 pigs at the moment. We got our 2, that's Copper and Coal.
She's in the water.
Oh, yeah, there she is. She's in the little hog wallow that we got there. We think she's pregnant. She's starting to put on weight, and her mammaries have swollen pretty well. And then I went ahead and got pork chop because we're going to need to put some meat in the freezer here late this fall, early winter. And I don't want to have to wait until those piglets are weaned, and that could be quite a while from now, another 8 months or so. I don't know how far along she is, so it could be a while. And they grow slow, so they're not as big. So if she's a blue butt, Hampshire cross, something like that, we don't know. She's a mutt, but doesn't matter. So we got the 3 pigs, we got 2 paddocks, and right now they're running everywhere. Bees are doing pretty well. They had a hard... Yeah, yesterday they were crazy. We thought we had a late season swarm yesterday because they all came out and flew around. They went to the apple tree. They were coming over here to the pear, and then they ended up going back to the hive. And so we said, well, we got to go through. Well, we went through today, all 4 of the hives, and they were... We found 3 of the 4 queens, and we found resources of, they're doing really well. They're not as full as frames as I'd like, because those boxes hold 30 frames, and I've got about 20-ish in each of them. And I would love for them to be a little heavier, but all the frames that are in there are pretty much filled out. The pump house... we'll put a gutter. I think we're going to put a gutter on it just to keep the water from running down the tank off of the roof. We're almost done with it. I got a little bit of siding left to do, and we made the siding, but it's coming along pretty nicely. Plenty of firewood for you folks that are in Deutschland, Germany, Europe, that are dealing with the natural gas issue. Sell you a cord. Seen all that going on. Alright, let me spin around here and come back down here. Whee! Oh my goodness. We've gotten a lot of melons. Hey there, Smokey. Anybody want some musk melons? We got tons of them. Tons of them. So you can see that we've got a lot of aspects when it comes to the sustainable food production and energy production, energy from the solar panels, And for hot water, those of you who don't know, the solar hot water panel on the front there, and walk back over here, that one right there that I need to rebuild. Everything is everything, our source of energy is that big thing up there, okay? Because, as many of you are aware, what do you need? Oh, many of you are aware, you want a sugar baby? We had a bunch. We probably got 24 watermelons off these. It was awesome. Many of you are aware of the energy issues that are going on and the jerking around that's being done by those who would assume power over us. Yeah, it looks like was the tendril.
Yeah, there was no.
This one isn't yet. This one isn't.
That's
Trying to figure out how.
That one I think might be, but it's still half green, half brown on the.
Yeah, no, that looks brown. I cut that one. See, we're looking up. How do you tell when these things are ripe? The cantaloupe and the musk melons, they're easy. They start turning yellow, but the honeydews, which we got here, it's real hard to tell, and the watermelons are real hard to tell. So, all this about food. It's not been easy. We've had a lot of failures and setbacks. How you doing, girls? You want to say hi to the girls? Oh, you gotta love them, or love what they produce. That cherry tree died on me. It's sent up some shoots, but it's off the rootstock, so I don't think we can keep that. This one I think barely survived, but this is the third time we've put a cherry in here. How you see our kales, our brassicas, our eggplant. We've had probably 20 really nice size eggplant. Tomatoes. Stand over here in the shade. Miss Piggy down there. So, there you can see a good look at that solar hot water panel. So we have all of this for the purpose of being able to sustain ourselves. What's coming down in this world, and to answer Paul's question, so that he could, so I could do what he asked me to do, is to answer the question. Oh, let's go around this way while we're doing it. To answer the question, what are you prepping for? Well, so let me premise this with the statement that I've said is, I see preppers in general, not everyone, we're a wide spectrum of ways of going things. Here's the drying barn. You can see all the cedar that we've cut up, some cedar and some oak. We built this. All that wood came off the mill, and here's the mill. This is where we make a lot of the wood now, and not just for us, for many of our community members. It's an awesome toy. So, in the prepper community, let's see. Oh, here's my new seat. Yeah, I cut this log. Plop my butt down here. Let's see, can we set you right there? There's probably, woohoo, fall over. Can you, wait, let's try that. There we go. So in the prepper community, there's a lot of discussion that goes on about the type of events that we could deal with. Now, many of you are now seeing these events that we're talking about. The droughts, the flooding, the food crisis and stuff like that. All of those things are unfortunately engineered, and they've done a fine job of it with many of the events. For those events, I would highly recommend, if you don't go to Zero Hedge, Zero Hedge should be your primary source of information. They present information that pretty much all other sources won't do at the level that they do, that Zero Hedge does. So if you want a good idea of why preppers do what we're doing out here, just read some of those headlines and you'll see pretty substantially the issues that we're dealing with. Now, what I've said, as I was getting to, in my videos is that becoming a prepper is only the first step. Generally, preppers morph themselves into homesteaders once they start to understand that it's not just one event that you'll have to be prepared for. Oh, okay, we had a hurricane come through and we're out of power for 2 weeks, and then everything goes back to normal. No, 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 my friends. What we're dealing with is the successive events that are accumulating because of the number of black swans that are flying around that are starting to drop out of the air, and as soon the whole flock of them is going to hit the ground like a big thud. And when that happens, all the systems that we've depended on for so many years are going to fail. And some will be intermittent, they'll be on and off, and some will be permanent. And that's why we produce what we produce here, is because we like the quality of life that we have, and we don't want to sacrifice that due to the dependency on other systems and other corporations and didn't get it. That's a horse fly. They hurt if they sting, or bite, I should say. So the further and further you go along in your preparations, stay. Voila, one less horsefly. The further and further you get along in the preparations, the more and more you realize you have a weak area here or a weak area there, and so on and so forth. So I'm going to answer Paul's question in a little different way. What we're preparing for continues to change because we're changing in our education of what's actually going on in this world. At first, when I first started preparing or wanting to put myself in this position, and I knew this was my picture. I've known this for probably 20 years, at least. I didn't understand it 20 years ago the way I understand it now, because there's a tremendous amount of learning and changing and growing that we all do as we get older. But I've known for a long time that this is it. And 2008, 9, and 10 basically sealed the deal that I need to get here in any way I could, as best I could, as fast as I could, because of the fragility of the system. We learned real quick how quickly things can go south. And so what are we preparing for? I'm going to look at it. I'm going to answer that question in two or three different ways. I'm preparing to not have the quality of my life interrupted. And there's so many ways that has happened. All you got to do is read through the headlines on Zero Hedge, and you're going to find some pretty scary events that are occurring around the world. And unfortunately, the mainstream media does not share that with the common public. You have to go digging for this information, and Zero Hedge is one of the top sources, and it's not my only source, but it's one of the top sources that you can get of events that are going on other countries, because there's a war occurring on this planet, and it's a deep spiritual war, and there are going to be a lot of casualties. Now, let me answer that question another way. The positive way is I'm preparing so that I can enjoy a high quality life with high nutritious food and a life where I'm not chasing the dollar, because I found it. You need some? No. Because I found that the dollar is dying, and your purchasing power in it is going away, and you can't get anything for it, so chasing it is a losing battle. So you're best to chase and hold the entire, here, take this.
Gotcha.
the entire value of your labor, because that's what they're attempting to steal from you using the dollar. So now that you see what I'm doing, because to me that's far more important as to what I'm preparing for, because I'm now of the opinion that I'm going to say everything. All the scenarios that we've heard, all the doom and gloom, should I say, apocalyptic, dystopic movies that we've seen, TV shows, all that stuff. All of those things are going to occur at some point, somewhere. I still, I think there will be a few fission events that hit some large cities. I still think that's going to happen. Hey there, buddy. You want to come say hi? Come here. Come here. Say hi. She say hi? She's hi. How are you? And, oh, you're going to get up there. But let's get a little bit more specific with the things that I'm the most concerned. My diehard, loving YouTube community subscribers will know this, and they'll be like, I know what she's going to say. And that is, my concern is the division that has been created again in families and neighbors, between each other, from politics to gender to pick your topic. The global elite have done a very fine job of breaking up the family unit through the financial depravity of our labor. Started 50 years ago or longer than that ago, and it is pretty much complete. So my biggest concern was always when these events that we're seeing unfold in front of our eyes start to occur and occur more rapid and more rapid, what would happen is eventually a total or near total breakdown of social structure. And it'll be around food, because as long as people can eat, then they generally shut up and sit down and they don't do nothing. We've been made into a very, very lazy population for the most part, because this takes work. And even with T and I not doing much in the way of videos here lately, we are still sun up to sundown every day. We're getting something done in a big way. So the biggest thing I've always been concerned about is, at some point in time, when the financial system's bubbles pop, that we would have to do with a sizably significant period of time where it's, I don't want to say full-on Mad Max, but definitely much more aggressive than just the 1960s type of protests and stuff, where you have few big LA riot kind of events. No, much greater. Something where every city dealt with it. This time I think it's going to be a lot larger than that. However, before we even get there, or concurrent with that happening, I now truly believe that we are going to be dealing with the aspects of absolute tyrannical behavior from the government. Again, following Zero Hedge in the articles, you'll see things that you're not going to see if you just turn on the nightly news, and what's going on with an absolute crackdown, a good way to put it, from agencies against people. Everything from, the people and their ability to use water in the Southwest with water shortages, and the what was the guy in Pennsylvania, the Amish dude in Pennsylvania, that sells organic milk. Look that up if you haven't. Then, back to the Bundy thing. All of these things show me that there is a force behind and that has consumed the Constitution. Hope that word doesn't get me thrown off of YouTube, because we don't want that around here. You have rights. You are a sovereign individual, but most of you are slaves and don't know how to exercise your sovereignty. You do what you're told. You behave just like they tell you to behave, and you are nearly 100% dependent. And I say this, you in general, because there's most of my subscribers who will see this video have made great strides to get away from that. So there is a change. It's coming. And for me, what am I preparing for? To answer the question, it's multi-phase. One, to enjoy the quality of my life that I create, because I value my life and my freedom and my ability to be engaged with my food, to be engaged with my loving animals, which, Loki, say hi. Say hi, buddy. Say hi, buddy. And, my community, the people that are around that I can develop relationships with, and there's a give kind of thing where there's a balance between what each individual can do to help each other. Because if I haven't said it 100 times or 1,000 times, what we do out here is beyond what T and I are truly capable of doing. We never can get it done. We can never get on top of it. There's always another chore. There's always something else that needs to be done, and taking a day off to go do something is pretty much impossible. And then to find somebody, if we were to take time off and go somewhere, who watches us? Who knows how to handle all these systems? Who knows what the feedings are, when they are? And I can go on about the complexity and how we're married to this. Now, I will tell you that I know this is exactly how the parasitical nature of humanity got as far as it has already. And that's because, first, by doing things secretly and quietly and behind closed doors, while all of the people in our country were focused on just managing their own homesteads, they quietly changed laws. They quietly created environments that were designed to undermine the structure of the family, our food production, and all this took a long time to happen. And now we're going to deal with the ramifications of that. Because we're not self-sufficient. The country doesn't produce but a small fraction of what it used to do 60, 70 years ago. All that production went off continent. So we're going to have to deal with our inequities. And we have a good, sizable portion of our population that feels that you need to do that for them. And until we fix all of that, we're going to have some very, very extraordinarily rough times. So it is my belief that I'm preparing for the potential to fall back in our quality of life very near a point. I've used this example a few times in a few videos over the years of the movie The Postman with Kevin Costner. It's a pretty good one. still full of a tremendous amount of propaganda, because in all of these movies it's always, oh, but America, it's gonna get fixed, we're gonna go back to the way it was, because in the end of the movie we all went back to the way it was, in going back into a civilization kind of thing, as opposed to small communities. We had to, the original founding fathers of this country really understood what they were up against in trying to do what they did. Anytime you can get a chance to go read any of Adams or Jefferson or Washington or Franklin, or any of those original handful of folks that put down their understandings, it'd be some eye-opening education for you. So why am I doing this? Well, for one, I really enjoy the hell out of where I'm at. I like the responsibility. I like the quality of life that I have. It's higher than most people, in my humble opinion. But more so is not because I want to, because I have to. Because if I don't, then I do know at some point in time in the very, very not so distant future, that quality of life is going to diminish, and diminish in ways that is not acceptable for me. So it's going to mean some dirty work gets done in the help of cleaning up our communities, because, again, as stated before, the corruption that we see in D.C. would not be there, and I should broaden that out to all government. Period. It would not be there if it was not played with and supported on a very, very small local basis. Meaning every little county, every one of these little 600 people, but we have to have a city and tax people and do all this and create a corporation and call it government, and we do this to our neighbors. We do it to our own family, and we don't understand the parasitical nature of where we're at. And this has been foreseen for a very, very long time, and it's been written about by a lot of folks. So at some point that bill comes due, and right now the bill has been slapped on the table, and that those who owe the bill are now scurrying to find how they're going to deal with it. They're looking at the bathroom window, they're looking at this, they're looking at that. The bill's on the table. If you haven't seen, the bill's on the table. And right now those who owe the bill are going, okay, how do we either get out of this or what? So there's very shortly, and I will finish off this tour video and discussion with one understanding that I have, and that is we are watching the last minutes tick off on the clock. I'm for sure we're not making it through some certain time points that are talked about by other YouTubers past the 24th, the 25th, and then into the first week of October. What happens during these times are going to essentially rock the world. Time's up. Seeing the certain figureheads in an island across the pond supposedly just go on the 8th or 9th, the 8th, and some of the things that have happened since, well, the bridge has fallen. Y'all know what I'm talking about, I think. If not, you better do your own research. So, let me grab this. And it's a long video. And let's see, I think Paul asked me to challenge other YouTube subscribers. So, I'll stick with the small community ones. I won't reach out to the bigger ones. They know who they are. They can do the same thing if they want to. But Darren and Patty, the Hacks for the Homestead, you guys can do the same thing. And our other small YouTube family, the girls out there in California. Rainey, Lynette, if you want to do a video and discuss just what it is you think you see coming and what you're preparing for and why you changed and all that. That's my buddy. Yeah, that's my buddy. That's my buddy. He's such adorable. He lays right on my chest and gives my nose licks after licks after licks, kisses every night. What do you say, turkeys? That's a Tom or Jake. That's going to be a hen. And that's our little itty bitty rooster. He has got the funniest crow. You might have heard him while we're out here talking. Anyway, so there's the homestead. You got a little work production area. You got and all this wood. You see, we took down the racks that were over here. Those big platforms that were over here. We've taken them down to open this up. Food, peach, nectarine, peach, apple, kale. I mean, it's all about food. You got calendula, We've got nettles and all that. Herbs everywhere. Oh, and I do remember. Look, there's the siding. That should be enough for me to finish that pump house. I ripped out enough out of that. It was a half-rotten log, and I managed to get that out of there. So one of these days, this whole shop will go into production mode of more stuff. I know I need to. Margarita, I know I got you on the back of my list for a cutting board. If I can get a few big projects done. That's what I'd like to do. Had to make myself a new anvil block out of that big old post oak because the other one rotted, so I got to put that back. I mean, just one thing after another. Project after project after project after project. But it beats the shit out of clocking in and clocking out at a 9 to 5 or 8 to 4 or whatever. I get up and I do what I want to do and I get it done. What do you think, folks? I'll add one last thing and then sign off here. T and I have given the best that we know how to share with you the steps and how we've built all of this. I've shown you how to build the solar. I've shown you everything we've shown you how to build so that you could do this yourself if you wanted to or incorporate any aspect. But we could not have done this all without all of you that have been there along the journey, helping to support in so many ways that you guys have done. Yes, we provided... what, Shadow? You want to say bye too? Because it probably is going to be a while before we do another video. Probably be a long while. You say bye? Meow! Meow, she says. So, I'm going to sign off here, leaving you with a big thank you for all of you who have been here with us, been along on the journey and whatnot. But it's because of the final aspects of what I was saying a little earlier is why I just don't, I think it's not going to be safe for people in certain positions because of the censorship and the things that are happening, the attacks that are happening in some very brutal ways. And unfortunately, our communities are not coming together to stand up against the heinous actions done by our own governments. So, thank you all for being here, being along for the journey. I wish we could be in a world where I could have more time and go back to the level of interaction that we had while I was doing videos. But I'm also enjoying the peace and quiet of just working what I got to work while I'm out here, not focusing on the negative. So that's it. Bye bye. Y'all take care. Be good.